I have discovered one principle that made me a better filmmaker, and in my opinion it is the key to capture better looking videos, which may or may not lead to landing more clients and gigs as a filmmaker. Now, is this principle based on buying an insanely expensive camera gear? Well, I have some bad news for you. It's not. So, what is the number one thing new aspiring filmmakers want to achieve first? From my own experience, they want to be able to capture cinematic looking videos. But what does cinematic really mean? For most people out there, the cinematic look probably represents a certain visual aesthetic style, which sets such video apart from amateur videos and makes it just look professional. So a cinematic looking video should probably contain a ton of slow motion, artsy color grading, and those almighty cinematic transitions. But professional doesn't always mean cinematic, and I personally incline more towards this definition. A cinematic video is a video that resembles a film. Over the years, the movie industry changed quite a lot in terms of aspect ratio, color, and lighting styles. When we use the term cinematic, this means it looks like an actual film we see in theaters. If you want to improve as a filmmaker, you definitely need to dive into some basics first. And I don't mean how to set the exposure of the shot, which camera to use, or what's in the camera bag of your favorite YouTuber in 2021. You should already know these things. I'm trying to say that you need to start following the visual storytelling basics. More experienced people will probably add some more things to this list, but for me the basics are lighting, composition, framing, and pacing. I'm not going to deep dive into all of these today, but I will definitely cover them in my upcoming videos. So it will be really my pleasure if you will eventually subscribe to my channel and if you will tune in also for these videos in the future. So the one principle that I've learned that changed my view on the cinematic look in videos is backlighting the subject. If you'll take a look at most of the movies, you will see that this principle is always present. I'm talking about placing the subject between the camera and the light source. This will result in having a darker side of the face closer to the camera, but that's not the whole point. Try to think of the cinematic look you see in movies or in videos in general, and also try to think what sets this look apart from amateur videos. You're correct. It's the depth. And I'm not talking only about the depth of field where you will basically blur the background by opening the aperture on your lens. The main goal of the cinematic look is to provide the viewer with three-dimensional experience while he's watching a two-dimensional media. This 3D experience can be achieved to some degree by proper lighting, where we create depth by creating contrast patterns. Like for example, this image starts with the light part, which is followed by the darker part of the face, which is then followed by another light part, and so on and so on. On the other hand, let's flip the camera angle in this scene and let's see the actual difference. You can see that the scene is well exposed, the composition is also kind of okay, but in comparison to the first shot, this looks kind of flat. Now let me show you how I actually set the scene. This setup can be used as a nice starting point to a dialogue scene, for example. First of all, I have placed the chair near to the window. Then I have framed the shot with the rule of thirds in mind. I have exposed the scene in a way that the window was not overexposed and we can actually see some detail outside of the window. This way I will achieve a higher dynamic range look in the scene, which also elevates the cinematic look in the video. To move away from the silhouette look, I will bring in just one light. I'm using the Aperture 120D with the light dome. The light should always be outside of the frame and should be also motivated by the natural light in the scene, in this example by the window. Now the goal is to brighten up the image only so much so it will look natural and the viewer won't even notice that we have used an additional light. So as you can see, with this one principle we have created a nice looking cinematic image. From the viewer's perspective, we have created a scene where our subject is lit just by the window and the image looks really natural. If you are watching any movie as a viewer, you should not be distracted by the lighting setup in the scene. The light should only enhance what's already there. Next, from a perspective of someone who is into videos, we have created a nice balanced image with higher dynamic range look because we have some information in highlights and also in shadows. Without applying this lighting principle, we would have either blown out window or pretty dark face and crushed shadows. So I hope that this video will help you clarify what is a cinematic video, what is a cinematic look, and how to achieve this look in your videos. If you have some comments, questions, or anything to say about this topic, I will be really glad to chat with you down in the comment section. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'm really looking forward to see you next time. To make it easier for you to find my videos in the future, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and hit the bell button to get notified whenever a new video pops up in your subscription feed. I promise it won't be too often to bother you.